Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Galaxy. Last time we got a couple more Drigellums in the blue ones. We've got the Drigellum of Desire for Steve and the Drigellum of Pride for Jupus. I didn't think either of the scenes really encapsulated the character as well as could have been. And in the case of Jupus, I don't really think he has a character. So let's move on to some more deserving and more fleshed out characters. This time we have Zegram.
Excuse me.
Yes? What is it?
Would you be able to tell me where gate 18 is?
Gate 18? It's over that way. Do you know how to get there?
Oh, I'll find my way somehow. Are you traveling too, miss?
Yes, I sure am. I'm on a trip to find happiness. Right now, I'm just waiting for my traveling companion. Oh, there he is. See? Over there.
Ah, yes, I see. He looks like a fine fellow.
A fine pirate indeed.
That's a man who can make you happy. I can tell these things. Well, I've taken enough of your time. I'd best be on my way. Wouldn't want to make him jealous, am I right? Thanks again. You take care now.
You too. Bye.
Jane! No. No way. Why, you son of a... Jane! Jane. You died to save that old geezer. Why? We were supposed to go on a trip together. Why did you have to do it, Jane?
Zegram.
Jane, is it really you?
I didn't die in vain, Zegram. I saved that old man. I don't regret that. Besides, what would you have done if you were in the same situation? I know you, Zegram. You would have done the same thing I did. That's the kind of person you are. Always acting tough, never showing your true self to anyone. Zegram, that's why I fell in love with you.
Jane.
I never once heard a straightforward word pass your lips. But now at last, I want to know how you really feel. I want to know your true feelings towards me.
How I really feel? What do you mean by that? Fine, I get it. I'll tell you, all right? I don't know. It's just that, well, I'd never loved anyone before. Jane, you were the first woman I'd ever cared for. I loved you. I wanted to be with you forever. You were the only thing that mattered. But you...
Thank you, Zegram. Me too. I wanted us to be together forever. Thank you. But now we must part, Zegram. I know you'll be able to love again. You have such a big heart. Here, this is for you.
And we get the Drigellum of Love.
Farewell, Zekrom.
Jane, wait, don't leave me! Jane!
Another strong scene. In this case, Jane is voiced by another veteran of voice acting, Michelle Ruff. She's been in anything, everything, and everything in between, including Norma from this game. For anyone who's been around the channel for a while, she was Sophia and Amina in Star Ocean 3. She was Miyuki in Xenosaga Episode 1. Alice in Shadow Heart's Covenant, and Miranda in Grandia 3. An eclectic mix. Her performance really brings this over the top. Zegrom, interestingly enough, Steve Bloom's gruff voice has, I think, almost too much gravel to display the emotion that they're trying to get across with this scene. And when he drops down really low like that and almost kind of croaks the lines out, I don't think it lines up exactly with what they were going for emotionally, but I'm not sure how I would have directed him to do anything else, just because I'm not a director and I have no idea what I'm doing. But either way, I still enjoy the scene. I think basically building up what Zegrom could have been had he not had this terrible tragedy in his life. Seeing what she saw, what Jane saw in him as basically this, not necessarily this echo of herself, but someone who had this big heart that would be able to apply that to everyone. You can see that in elements of this character that we've seen over the course of the game, with the scene in the prison where he passes the picture on to Rosencaster and says something to the effect of, "Don't let go of her this time," to how that echoed with what we saw, I think it was in chapter 9, where we finally got to kind of see his character arc come through and reason why he's doing what he's doing. You know, he can be a bit of a dick trying to get exactly what he wants. But what he wants is he wants to bring back someone who meant everything to him. Someone who is inexperienced in letting anyone in and afraid to let anyone in. And him finally doing that and then losing them, it shuns you away from the one thing that you've been trying to do. And that's let people in. So seeing how he could have turned out drastically differently had one thing not occurred almost makes me think back to The Killing Joke. If you're not familiar, The Killing Joke is a Batman story where the Joker basically poses that just one bad day can make all the difference in how you turn out. They made an animated film on it, which has issues. But I haven't actually read the original comic, but the idea and the concept of it I've read about before. And it sounds like it would be a very well put together, well thought out story based on the concepts involved. But then again, I can read concepts of shows and movies and comics and whatever and go, that sounds really, really cool. And then go and watch it or read it for myself and go, it didn't really work for me. So I would assume, based on the criteria or the well respect that it has in the community, that it would be, a really well done piece. But either way, that's kind of what it reminds me of, this idea that everything changes on one major input in your life, and that could lead me down to 17,000 lines of thought on different ideas of like time travel and going to certain places in your life. It makes me think of a novel I just finished listening to the audiobook for. Oh, now it's going to bother me. What was the name of that book? The Midnight Library. That was what the book was called. I got halfway to looking it up anyway, and then I remembered. But yeah, Zegram is an interesting one because he's a lot more established than a lot of the other characters. He has a lot more personality. He grows a lot more. He changes a lot more. He has more lines of dialogue to actually give him a personality. Other characters don't really have much. They have a one-note beat that they go for. Simon is kind of that way. Steve's kind of that way. And Jupus is kind of that way. The only three that get like big amounts of characterization are Kasala, Zegram, and Jaster. The other two, Lilica and Digo, they have kind of in the middle. They don't have quite as much characterization, but what we do get resonates, at least with me, a lot more strongly. And here we go into the red path. This one is Jaster's.
Raoul, can I ask you something? If I go into space one day, what would you do? Would you come with me?
No, I like this planet just fine. I'd wait here for you to come back.
Okay.
Going up into space has always been my dream. And now here I am, just as I'd hoped I would be. So many amazing things awaited me here, just like I'd always imagined.
How long are you planning on standing around? Why not come over here and have a seat?
Huh? Are you talking to me?
Who else? How do you feel about space now that you've seen it?
Well, let's see. It's just as fantastic as I pictured it to be. My life here's full of suspense, excitement, fear, and lots of fun. And I can feel it all so deeply.
Ah, so your dreams come true then?
Yeah.
So you mean your dream was just to go up into space? That's boring.
What?
My dream is more than just going into space. I'm going to change the universe. Because, like, there's not a lot of food on this planet. I bet that somewhere out there, maybe there's a plant that can grow in the desert, you know? Or maybe a medicine that'll cure any sickness. Or a weapon that'll drive out all the bees at once. Who knows? Space has a lot of possibilities. So that's why I'm gonna go out there and do whatever I can to make all the planets better places. That's my dream. What do you think? It's way bigger than yours, huh?
How could I have forgotten? My childhood dream wasn't just to go into space. I wanted to accomplish so much more. As I grow up, I'm forgetting my childhood dreams, one by one. But some dreams shouldn't be forgotten.
And we get the Drigellum of Dreams.
You okay? What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I just hope all your dreams come true.
Uh-huh.
So, you've remembered. There is much left for you to do. Make this child's dreams, your dreams, a reality. Go now, Jaster.
Mm-hmm.
Jaster's childhood dreams. They're like everyone's childhood dreams. They're full of whimsical imagination, and then we get jaded by reality and accept that we can't always have everything that we want. Gotta pick and choose and work within the bounds that we're given. This game is about Jaster growing up more than it is about anything else. So adding this additional layer of development, realization for his character makes a lot of sense. I really enjoy this. He's been the focus pretty much, all game long. He's the protagonist, that makes sense. I can't really fault the way they've written him. Like, they've written him in a way where everything has been about him growing up. And the fact that as anyone grows up, we always forget aspects of our past. His character is, it's a basic archetype. It's executed well, especially if you look at a lot of the other characters in the game. Jaster's characterization is a lot more fleshed out than anyone else's. And I've talked about over the course of the game how the voice acting helps to emphasize a lot of that development and a lot of that change. This scene, it doesn't really do a whole lot for me other than kind of refocus in on Jaster. But one thing that I do find interesting is that they've used Jaster along with the other party members, and we've each had a trial. But normally when you do a sequence like this, either the protagonist doesn't get a trial, thinking of something I played recently I won't spoil, or they're the last one. But you can choose these in any order you want. It is not required to do this one last, and well, we have one more left to go. So it's kind of an odd choice to make it there. But one way or another, Jaster gets good character development. He grows up, his dreams change in advance. I don't really know what I have to say about the fact that they're saying some dreams shouldn't be forgotten. I guess they're trying to tie it into him having to save the world here, because, that's kind of what we're doing. So I guess that's the connection they're trying to make, but I don't, remembering your past dreams is fun and all, but being able to balance, the id, basically, we're going to get all philosophical here. If you're focusing on your id, is basically the kid voice in you that tells you, I want this now. We need to balance that out with, our own values, the values of society and everything else. So I don't really see why you would want to, remember them, yes, but just because you had a dream back then that you forgot doesn't mean you want to bring it back now, especially if it's still unattainable. Though in Jaster's case, we're playing a video game trying to save the world, so it might actually be in line with something that we could do. Either way. Okay, we have arrived at Orange, the last one. We should have all of them up until now. Just go and double check, yeah. So we got Kisala's a few episodes back. Simon, Lilica, Jupus, Steve, and then today we got Zegram and Jaster. One more remains, so let's go do this.
Huh?
Digo.
What the? An illusion?
Hey there, Digo. I haven't seen you around lately. Are you getting the hang of that military work?
Huh. This guy started passing all the top-class training routines as soon as he joined up. He's on the fast track to being a military elite.
But this is... Have I gone back in time?
Just how long are you planning on standing there in the doorway? Here.
You know, as it happens, I have something to give you.
Hmm?
Remember? Back in the academy? The bet we made?
That if one of us were to die in battle, whoever survived would take the other's coin. He'd keep it his whole life, as a reminder of the other. That way it would be as if the two of us were fighting together, till both of us were gone.
That's right. You've hit the nail on the head. It was a cheesy testament that we made to our friendship. Therefore, this coin here belongs to you.
What do you mean?
Sorry. I've got to be heading out. Never die, Digo. I'm really glad I met you. You and Angela were the only people that ever meant something in my life. Digo, Angela, goodbye.
Take care, Gale.
Is Gale...
Yes, he's gone on a journey. To a place everyone will wind up one day. But before he left, he managed to reclaim everything that he had lost.
We get the Drigellum of Friendship.
I will fight on, my friend. And no matter how strong my foe, I will defeat it. After all, with both of us fighting, there's no way we can lose.
And now we know why the officer's coin was never able to fit into the flow properly. It's kind of weird that they gave us a piece of the puzzle, but didn't allow us to use it for over half the game. But it now updates to the keepsake coin, and we can update to his special ability. And that special ability is called Our Song. It is a self-physical attack buff, and it's actually pretty useful. The issue that I have here with Digo's scene, his arc wrapping up, is that he's really already gone through his arc. We did his arc in Chapter 6. This ties up the fact that he doesn't know that Gale has passed on. But it doesn't really do all that much more. This is a character archetype with Digo here that we've seen before. It's not all that new. there's nothing really wrong with it. Digo is like this quiet and contemplative, loner character. But for those that, he's really close with, he is a force to be reckoned with when he needs to be. All in all, I think he's one of the more rounded characters in the game. Like, you have characters like Kasala and Jaster and Zegrim that have these longer arcs. But as far as anyone past those three, I think he has probably the most development. I wish Lilica had more, but I think those two are in and around the same. I think Digo kind of gets a little bit more than she does. But yeah, sadly, there's not really all that much to talk about here because, like I said, Digo's character arc has already been wrapped up. Him remembering the past and, getting a chance to listen to Crispin Freeman again is great, and listen to the Angela's Bar theme, which is always fantastic. Those are great things, but do they really do anything for us over the course of, developing his character? Not really. It's kind of the downside to almost all of our characters. We get, other than Kisala, Zegrim, and Jaster, we get an arc at some point, if we're lucky. With Simon, we don't. With Jupus, we kind of do, a little bit. But we get that, they join our party, and then there's not enough actual dialogue between the characters to build them up beyond that initial arc that they had. And it makes for, I wouldn't say a boring, but a more combat and side quest focused second half to the game. This is an issue that I've noticed in a number of games where I find the initial part of the game where the characters are introduced and the world is introduced a lot more interesting than the more advanced, tied in knot stories all becoming unraveled, and we learn, the great evil that we have to go and fight and we have to save the world from. I cannot count the amount of times I played Final Fantasy VII and just played through Midgar or just played through Disc 1 and then went, I'm good for now. And then just get distracted and never get back to it. Like, I haven't done that in a long time. I also haven't played the original Final Fantasy VII since I did the Let's Play, honestly. And that's a long time ago. I've picked it up since then. I just haven't actually gone through and finished a run. But yeah, I find that the initial introduction of the characters and the initial building of the world is more interesting. And I'd say that's probably the case here as well with this game. We just get a lot more interesting characterization, character development that builds the characters for us to want to see what happens to them. And then sadly, in this case, nothing really happens to them until right at the end. All right, and as you may have seen with the save there during fast forward, after collecting the last of the Drigellums, we're technically already in chapter 13. There's one more cutscene that I'd like to play out here before. That ominous music should tell you something. If you get here without all the Drigellums, he will send you back. You have all the Drigellums.
Ah, here you all are. Very good. I'll combine your Drigellums, power from your hearts, and fashion them into the ultimate sword. Are you ready?
Sure.
Good. Then I shall begin. Anohama via Psychros, Hanam la Zeram, Lul Molzega Theo Roseth. O ye spirits connecting wind and sky and land, make these holy lights born from noble souls into one, and bestow upon us the ultimate unstoppable sword. Grant us your power!
It's a giant Power Ranger sword. It might as well be.
Wow.
So that is the Drigellum sword.
Why
It
does
is
it
complete.
have to be a sword?
This is the Sword of Souls, made from Drigellums. The sacred blade, Zeocycros. It may be able to defeat Mother. It is our last hope.
It is Obi-Wan
Now,
himself.
Jaster, take this sword and win back a future for our entire galaxy.
No pressure.
Zeocycros. What a beautiful sword.
Sure. Like a lot of swords in JRPGs, it's a little busy and a little gaudy and very impractical. But it doesn't look terrible. Now we have indeed obtained another sword. Not only that, it's another storyline sword, and as you can see by its attack power, it is nothing special. It is a storyline sword and pretty much nothing else. It is not the ultimate sword in the universe, it's just a sword. It may have storyline implications, but as far as combat goes, it's not particularly special. I have been working on swords for a while now. We have a few that we can level up, but I think I'm gonna hold that. You know what? I guess we could do some combining. Let's do that, and then I think we'll call it a day. So we have the Pegasus Lord 2 and the Spirit Caliber. And for that, we get the Pegasus Lord 3. Next, we combine the Pride of Kings 2 with the Alexander. And we get the Pride of Kings 3. Next, we want to combine the Adamant Razor and a Spirit Caliber. And that gets us a Majestic Halo. So we're almost ready here. Let's throw a bunch of those swords up there. Only got a few more combinations left to do here. These are the swords we have yet to combine, and then these three up here are all for post-game stuff because, surprise, surprise, Jaster doesn't have enough swords yet. See, we've found some other things that I don't particularly need. Here's another piece of armor for Digo there. We will take a look at that in a little bit. And as you can see, and probably have seen during all my fast forwarding sections, I have been specifically trying to farm the crystal staffs. And now I have all 16 that I need. So we can do that and basically fill out a lot of what's left on the flow. Not everything, but a lot of things. And as you can see, we're now in chapter 13, which means we have access to not only this final item that we're going to find, but we can go back, which I will actually be doing right now. We're going to head back out of the scary music, and I'm going to go backwards because I do not know how to steer. There we go. Being in chapter 13, almost every item in the game that is sold in stores is now infinite. There are some items that are more important than others to pick up at this point. The first one I'm going to do, I know for a fact is on Rosa. I don't remember if it's on a different planet or not. So we're going to go here first. And we're finally going to fill up on Rose of Passion, because I know that this is an easy access to it. And I also know that I really like the music that we get to listen to. So let's head back here and buy all that we can. I will never not find a reason to come back to this song. But yeah, pretty much everything will be available in infinite supplies. Resurrections, Rose of Passion. I don't know how many we need. I'm just going to buy a bunch. Let's check my thing before we run away. I'll actually buy a few more, just because I don't know if I'm going to uncover anymore, and you just don't find the damn things. Anyway, we have so much money, it's not like we could ever run out at this point. Things like guard seals, you can use these in regular battles if you want. I'm not specifically worried about doing them. Missile squall them, bye-bye. I don't need to fight you guys. The only one left working on weapons now is Jaster. Everybody else has their ultimate weapons. Now, there's probably specific stores, and I do have my shop stores Excel sheet up if I felt like going and looking through there to find the optimal place to buy everything. But for the vast majority of things, you can just go to Zerard. Makes it a little bit easier. There's not really anything else that you really need to pick up at this point. You can basically make do with whatever you have. But if you need specific healing items, or you need, you know, status protecting items, some of them are available here. And the other thing that you're probably going to want to do is you're going to want to go into your item storage at this point. Go into item storage, and you can basically just put everything that you have of a certain item. In my case, I'm going to store all of the those that I have and all of those that I have. And I guess we can store all those as well. Is there anything else that I really need extras of? Not really. Not really a lot of things that I need to purchase anymore. As far as healing goes, I'm probably not going to use most of what I have. But if you go and talk to this guy, he should have a lot of what you're needing. These I'm basically just going to max out on there. Strength stars, I'll buy a fresh supply of those, fresh supply of those, and a fresh supply of those. You can do attack seals as well if you want. What was that, 15? Sure, we'll get 15 of those as well. And like, if you still need certain things for the flow, now is when you get it. You can actually buy more than one vintage wear. I do have one already. It's just now available in infinite supply for some reason. The vintage wear should be in here. Yeah, right there. So we already have it. It's not like we need it or anything like that. Let us store a bunch of shields that I don't need. We can also buy a whole bunch of these things. So I'm going to store that one. I'm going to store that one. It's not like I need any of these items anymore. I can store that. I don't need that anymore. We'll play around with things that are there. Let's double check one thing, make sure. Yeah. Strength Star, Guardian, Brave, yeah. Just make sure it's in the order that I wanted it in. And usually if you haven't found what you're looking for there, you can go over here and you'll find more of the same over here. You need other specific healing items. These are usually the two main shops that I go to for most of the stuff that I need to at this point. But if you need anything else specific, there are plenty of walkthroughs. So yeah, you can get tri-elixirs, max those out, tri-charges, max those out, resurrections. For some reason, there's only one of these. Don't ask me why. I guess they forgot. Yeah. Anything you could possibly need is usually available at this point. So just come and pick up those whenever you feel the need to. You can get like a big stack of them in your item storage in the save points, and then just pull from those whenever you need it. But anyway, let's go talk to Mia. We're closing in on being able to finish off a lot of things. And I believe we have finished one other thing. Oh God, these idiots are here. Why are they here? It's because you guys are stupid. Can I fire these guys? I know I don't work for the company, but I want to fire them. We've completed the quarries and we get the sun's beloved ware. All right, what do we got left? Only the flow left, and we need, I think it's 12 or 13 of the last item that we're only going to get here in this chapter. I'm pretty sure we have enough of the other items in order to finish off almost everything else in the flow. So we're really closing in on it. Let us take a look at some of the new costumes that we got. We're going to swap in Digo and Lilica. So that's what we're working with at the moment. Let's take a look at these new costumes, and then I think we'll call her a day. All right, so ice, wind, and holy. Instead of ice, we have fire. And we go from Longardian armor with fire, lightning, and holy to, instead of lightning, we have ice now, and we have the Destructo attachment. Give you back your shield. Let's give you back your shield. And we have new costumes. I can't say they're specifically my favorite costumes, but we have new costumes. All right. Exchange whatever points I have. Not that it matters. And next time, I think we'll go and we'll polish off what's left of the flow and move on into the final dungeon of the game. I know we've been on Mariglen for a little while now, but this one is finally the final dungeon. Do note that any mimics that you find in this chapter will have a 50% drop rate of that last item, so we're going to want to make sure that we are prepared and save before doing any of them. But yeah, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. That's what we're going to do in the next episode. So anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.